On October 23, 2025, the FBI arrested over 30 people in a single day, and 3 of those names belonged to the basketball world: a current NBA head coach, an active NBA player, and a former NBA champion.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Cosa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families.
Federal agents coordinated across 11 states in 2 separate operations, one called Operation Nothing But Bet, targeting illegal sports betting, and another called Operation Royal Flush, going after rigged poker games. Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, and Damon Jones ended up in handcuffs that morning, and what prosecutors revealed exposed a network of illegal gambling, rigged poker games, and connections to 4 of the 5 New York mafia crime families. This scandal stands apart from anything we've seen before because of the scale, the organized crime involvement, and the uncomfortable questions it forces about a league that spent the last decade making sports betting central to its business model. Here's everything we know. The indictments came unsealed at a Brooklyn federal courthouse on the morning of October 23rd, and FBI Director Kash Patel announced 34 total arrests. 31 defendants faced charges in the poker scheme, while 6 appeared in the sports betting indictment, and 3 individuals, including Damon Jones, got named in both. Crime family names filled the documents like something from a mob movie. The Bonanno family, the Gambino family, the Genovese family, all confirmed directly by the Department of Justice. FBI Director Patel mentioned the Lucchese family as well, though that name didn't appear in the specific indictment documents. $7 million in illegal profits came from the poker scheme alone, all since April 2019. The sports betting operation allegedly touched at least 7 NBA games between December 2022 and March 2024, with insiders feeding non-public information about player injuries and lineups to gamblers who placed massive wagers before anyone else knew. And that's where 3 men with deep basketball connections enter the picture. Terry Rozier plays guard for the Miami Heat and earns roughly $26.6 million this season, the final year of a contract worth over $96 million. Across his 10-year career, approximately $160 million has flowed into his accounts from professional basketball. What would make a man earning that kind of money allegedly get tangled up with organized crime gambling operations? Court records reveal something worth knowing. A federal tax lien landed against Rozier in Broward County, Florida, on November 1, 2023, totaling over $8.2 million in unpaid federal income taxes from 2021. That lien only got released on October 29, 2025, 6 days after his arrest, right after ESPN reported on it. His attorney called it an e-filing error and claimed Rozier actually owed just $9,000, though no documentation backed up that claim. The specific game at the heart of the allegations took place on March 23, 2023, when the Charlotte Hornets faced the New Orleans Pelicans. According to prosecutors, Rozier allegedly told childhood friend Deniro Laster that he would pull himself from the game early, and that's exactly what appeared to happen. 9 minutes and 36 seconds of playing time, then out with a foot injury, and he never returned for the rest of the season. Here's where the evidence becomes damning. U.S. Integrity, a Las Vegas monitoring firm, sent a nationwide alert to sportsbooks at 2:24 p.m. the day of that game. At least 6 sportsbooks detected suspicious betting patterns. One bettor at Harrah's Gulf Coast placed 30 wagers totaling nearly $14,000, all on Rozier unders. Over $200,000 total got wagered on Rozier's props for that single matchup. The NBA investigated and concluded there was insufficient evidence of a rules violation, which meant Rozier kept playing, got traded to Miami, and life continued normally for him. That changed on October 23, 2025, when federal agents showed up at his Orlando hotel. A not guilty plea came on December 8, 2025. Rozier currently sits on unpaid leave from the NBA, missing over $1.1 million per paycheck, and the Players' Union has filed a grievance calling the unpaid leave counter to the presumption of innocence.
They do the same thing. They had so many injuries from the start of the season, and that's why you're in the position you are right now.
Terry Rozier, the pull-up from the free throw line. Hornets make 2 changes. They bring Dennis Smith Jr. into the game, and JT Thor enters the ball game. Second with Ashley.
Well, guys, Zion Williamson, just to add to him, 4th year in the league, and just this season, for the first time ever, guys, he got his very first tattoo. And if you ever wondered where the name Zion comes from, the tattoo explains a little bit.
And the meter's still running, Richard. Still going. Oh, Rozier turned it over again. Having a tough night.
Chauncey Billups built a 17-year NBA career that started when he went 3rd overall in the 1997 draft. A championship ring came with the Detroit Pistons in 2004, along with Finals MVP honors. 5 All-Star selections followed, and the nickname Mr. Big Shot stuck with him throughout. Roughly $106 million in player earnings accumulated over those years, and the Basketball Hall of Fame inducted him in 2024. Portland hired him as head coach of the Trail Blazers on June 27, 2021. Just 6 months before his arrest, on April 13, 2025, he signed a multi-year contract extension. The night of October 22, 2025, he coached a game for Portland, and the following morning he found himself in handcuffs. Billups faces no charges in the sports betting scheme. His indictment relates entirely to the poker operation, where prosecutors say he served as what they call a face card. The indictment defines this term directly. Face cards were members of the cheating teams and received a portion of the criminal proceeds in exchange for their participation. Translation: Billups and other celebrities allegedly served as bait to lure wealthy victims into rigged poker games. Organizers knew that having an NBA legend at the table would attract rich marks who were starstruck, as one text message put it. One victim allegedly acted like he wanted Chauncey to have his money simply because of who Billups was. Manhattan, the Hamptons, Las Vegas, and Miami hosted these games. Prosecutors allege that during one April 2019 session, a rigged shuffling machine cost victims at least $50,000. October 2020 brought another rigged game, after which Billups allegedly received a $50,000 wire transfer for his participation. Photographs captured Billups leaving the Portland Federal Courthouse after his arrest wearing a brown Clutch Sports Group hoodie. And since Clutch represents LeBron James and Billups is a client, social media erupted with speculation about hidden meanings. That remains speculation, and nothing more. What we know for certain is that he entered a not guilty plea on November 24, 2025. Tiago Splitter now coaches the Trail Blazers on an interim basis, and Billups remains on immediate unpaid leave.
According to federal prosecutors, was the lure. The mafia allegedly paying him for his celebrity to attract high rollers to poker tables in the Hamptons, in Las Vegas, in Miami, and right here in Manhattan, so they would gamble, so they would play poker. What those people didn't know was that everyone else at the table was in on the scam because the games were rigged.
The most complicated figure in this entire scandal might be Damon Jones. 11 NBA seasons between 1999 and 2009 brought him over $21 million across 10 different teams, with his biggest deal being a 4-year, $16.1 million contract with Cleveland in September 2005. Financial troubles started long before these arrests, and court documents reviewed by NBC News reveal how bad things got. His 2013 bankruptcy filing listed a $10,000 Nike endorsement as his only income, $200 in cash, less than $300 in the bank, about $2,400 in an IRA, and a Yorkshire Terrier valued at $1. That case got dismissed. Another bankruptcy filing came in 2015, this time showing $50 in cash, less than $50 in the bank, and somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million in liabilities. Creditors were owed over $644,000, including $47,000 to the Bellagio Casino for breach of contract. June 2023 brought an eviction notice from a Houston apartment for roughly $5,600 in back rent, dismissed when Jones failed to appear in court. August 2023 brought another eviction notice for over $11,000, and this time a default judgment gave the landlord possession plus an $11,000 monetary judgment. 2019 saw a civil complaint from a man named Scott Kerr claiming Jones had borrowed $10,000 plus a $4,000 fee using his 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers championship ring as collateral. Jones allegedly never repaid the loan or returned the ring. 3 other men filed suits between October 2023 and November 2024, claiming unpaid loans totaling tens of thousands more. That's the context for understanding why Damon Jones allegedly did what prosecutors claim. The most explosive allegation involves LeBron James, though not in the way you might expect. February 9, 2023, the Los Angeles Lakers were scheduled to face the Milwaukee Bucks, and according to the indictment, Jones sent a text that read, "Get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the information is out. James is out tonight. Bet enough so Jones can eat 2 now." LeBron sat out that night, and the Lakers lost. Jones held the position of unofficial assistant coach for the Lakers at that time. No official staff listing included his name, but he had locker room access, traveled on team flights, stayed in team hotels, and helped with LeBron's pregame workouts. LeBron James had absolutely no knowledge of what Jones was doing, and sources indicate they hadn't been on speaking terms before the indictment dropped. James faces no charges and has made no public statement about the scandal. Jones allegedly didn't limit himself to that one game. January 15, 2024, brought another alleged leak, this time sharing Anthony Davis's injury information before a Lakers-Thunder matchup. The poker scheme charges also apply to Jones, who allegedly participated in rigged games alongside Billups. One text message shows his alleged attitude when told to help cheat at poker. "Lol man, y'all call Jones in 'cause y'all know I know what I'm doing." His plea, not guilty.
What they don't know about yet is how big the blast radius is around Damon Jones. Like Damon Jones.
He's gonna get us all indicted.
There are people that believe Damon Jones is the biggest liability the NBA has right now. Because you saw in that indictment, he reached out to LeBron James and found out if he was playing or not in a February 2023 game. Now, nobody's accusing LeBron of anything nefarious, and I don't know about you, but I can certainly envision a scenario where LeBron hears from Jones, and Jones is like, "Hey man, you playing tonight?" LeBron's like, "No, I'm banged up. I broke the record the other night, so I'm just gonna take tonight off."
You're absolutely right. Like, there's stuff that Jason tells me, or a friend tells me, like Dame might tell me, and it's like, it's just off trust. Like, it's like, "Hey, what's up, bruh? of course you're not going to call a mafia bookie and use this information.
Well, not even a mafia bookie. Like, I mean, I bet you can answer this. Like, how many times in your life have you received information that would have been valuable for gambling? I'm guessing it's dozens of times, hundreds of times.
It's never even crossed my mind. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, a million times. Like, when I sit there, I could be at my butt, like, kicking with my buddy at night before the game and being like, yo, can you walk? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? And being like, man, that's crazy, you know what I'm saying? So I've never done it, but I can also see how, like, LeBron can just nonchalantly just tell Damon Jones, like, hey, nah, I'm not playing, bro, I'm out. Like, you know, I probably told him that was the least of, like, the concerns of what he told him. He probably told him some far off other crazy stuff, and it's like, he would have never guessed Damon would be telling people. That's just, you know, the consequences. It's like going to go sell drugs. You know the consequences. We're told numerous times about gambling in this league.
You know, I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg. I think when you talk about arrests being made by the FBI, I think the guys that are arrested are going to sit down and be scared to death with what they're facing, and they're going to start to cooperate, and they're going to tell the FBI everything they know, and this thing is going to spread like wildfire, and you're going to find out that this is a lot bigger than it is right now, and it's pretty big, because I think this is widespread. I think it's going to be very damaging to the league, and you know, I just received a text message from one of the FBI agents that worked my case, and he basically said that they're not going to be able to cover this up like they covered up my case. There's no doubt in my mind some of these star players might have been, you know, saying something to their buddies back home that they weren't playing, or one of the other guys weren't playing, or they weren't 100%, and bets were placed and money was made. Sometimes people with power and money feel like the rules don't apply to them, and they're not going to get caught, and you get a little bit cocky like I did, and think that you're going to get away with something like this, and you just don't. You eventually always get caught.
None of this emerged from nowhere. The NBA received a major warning just months earlier. April 17, 2024, saw Commissioner Adam Silver announce a lifetime ban for Jontay Porter, who held a two-way contract with the Toronto Raptors. Porter's scheme lacked any subtlety whatsoever. January 26, 2024, against the Clippers, he played 4 minutes before claiming an eye injury, finishing with 0 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist, all numbers that fell under his prop lines. March 20th, 2024, against the Kings, brought 3 minutes of playing time before he claimed illness. An associate had placed an $80,000 parlay that would have paid $1.1 million, but the bet got frozen due to suspicious activity and never paid out. Porter also placed 13 bets on NBA games himself between January and March 2024, using an associate's account. Over $54,000 in wagers produced about $22,000 in profit, and 3 of those bets were parlays that included the Raptors losing. A guilty plea to wire fraud conspiracy came on July 10, 2024. Sentencing guidelines call for 41 to 51 months in prison, with a maximum of 20 years possible. Here's the connection that matters. The same betting accounts that wagered on Porter's manipulated games also placed bets on Terry Rozier. Defendants in the October 2025 indictment allegedly threatened Porter over gambling debts to obtain insider information from him. The NBA should have recognized this was bigger than one player. The sports betting industry recognized it. U.S. Integrity recognized it. FanDuel and DraftKings both detected the irregular patterns. Terry Rozier passed his investigation anyway and kept playing for another 2.5 years. Understanding why this scandal feels so dangerous for the NBA requires going back to 2007 and Tim Donaghy. 13 seasons as an NBA referee from 1994 to 2007 put Donaghy on the court for 772 regular season games and 26 playoff matchups. 4 of those seasons, he spent betting on games he worked while passing information to gamblers. Coded language helped Donaghy provide his picks. Payment started at $2,000 per correct pick, later rising to $5,000. His success rate landed somewhere between 70 and 88%, depending on the source, and roughly $300,000 flowed to him over the course of the operation. The gamblers using his information may have collected over $100 million. August 2007 brought a guilty plea, followed by a sentence of 15 months in federal prison. Donaghy has been doing media appearances since the October 2025 arrests, and his comments carry an ominous tone. On Chris Cuomo's show, he put it this way: "I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. You're going to see maybe a bigger scandal coming out of the college level." Patrick Bet-David's podcast brought another prediction. It's going to be widespread. There are going to be a lot of other big names involved in this. Donaghy also claimed he received a text from an FBI agent who worked his original case, saying they're not going to be able to cover this up like they covered up mine. That claim remains unverified, and Donaghy is a convicted felon with obvious motivation to stay relevant, so appropriate skepticism applies. What he did accurately predict back in 2007 was that the NBA's embrace of legalized gambling would create exactly this kind of problem.
All the players know this, that certain referees treat them much better than others.
Donaghy told us that 2 years ago, Iverson had incurred the wrath of the refs.
He had threatened one of our officials, and the NBA fined him $25,000, and we felt as a group that he should have been suspended, and because he wasn't, we felt like we would teach him a lesson.
During that time, you worked an Iverson game January 6, 2007, so you bet against Iverson's team.
Correct.
Because you knew that all the refs were gunning for him. This was openly discussed.
Openly discussed. Obviously, in the pregame meetings, we came to the conclusion that we were not going to give Allen Iverson any marginal plays to the basket, and that absolutely should have been called a foul that I and the other referees passed on.
Did anyone in the NBA know about it?
There was a group supervisor at the game that came in at halftime who was laughing and stated that he felt that Iverson had gotten the message.
So the supervisor approved of your punishing Iverson?
Yes.
The uncomfortable center of this story sits right here. The NBA partnered with FanDuel in 2014 and added DraftKings in 2019. November 4th, 2021 saw both companies become co-official sports betting partners of the league. Commissioner Adam Silver has been the most vocal advocate for legalized sports betting among all major sports commissioners. October 22nd, 2025, the day before the arrests, found him on the Pat McAfee show discussing the issue. Silver's words: "We've asked some of our partners to pull back some of the prop bets, especially when they're on two-way players. Maybe it's the couple rebounds that some player gets." Another statement from that appearance feels prescient now. It's too easy to manipulate something which seems otherwise small and inconsequential. I think, probably, there should be more regulation, frankly. I wish there was federal legislation rather than state by state. The day after the arrests, Silver described himself as deeply disturbed with a pit in my stomach when he heard the news. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The systems designed to catch this kind of manipulation worked. U.S. Integrity flagged the Rozier game the day it happened. Sportsbooks detected the irregular betting. That information got passed to the NBA, and Terry Rozier kept playing for another 2.5 years.
Absolutely right, Rich. The NBA at some point is going to have to explain why Terry Rozier was allowed to keep playing. And I just want to point something out. The sports books caught the irregular betting on Terry Rozier the day it happened, the morning it happened, when all of a sudden there was hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in on Terry Rozier unders for a relatively meaningless game in March, involving the Charlotte Hornets. The sportsbooks caught it. They told the NBA right away, and guess what? The NBA, Rozier didn't play the rest of the season, and he had faked the injury, so it wasn't because of the injury. The NBA pulled him. They pulled Jonte Porter too. They flagged Jonte Porter and pulled Jonte Porter. The NBA's protection measures, the sportsbooks protection measures, triggered this. They caught it.
LeBron James deserves discussion here, not because any accusations exist against him, but because his orbit keeps appearing in these gambling stories. November 2021 brought an admission from LeBron's longtime friend and business partner, Maverick Carter. Federal agents learned that Carter had bet on NBA games through an illegal bookie named Wayne Nix. Around 20 bets on college football, the NFL, and the NBA, each between $5,000 and $10,000. Carter told agents he couldn't remember placing any bets on the Lakers. No charges ever came for Carter. His spokesman stated he was not the target of the investigation, cooperated, was never charged. NBA rules technically allow business managers to bet on league games, even though players and coaches cannot. Damon Jones played with LeBron on the Cavaliers from 2005 to 2008. Served as an unofficial assistant for the Lakers in 2022-2023, and now faces accusations of selling LeBron's injury information without his knowledge. Chauncey Billups is a Clutch Sports client. None of this means LeBron did anything wrong, and no evidence suggests he knew about any of it. When Tim Donaghy predicts there are going to be a lot of other big names involved in this, the proximity of all these figures to the biggest name in basketball becomes impossible to ignore.
Why does he always seem to not know when something wrong is happening right beside him? 4 major cases, 4 close people, 4 times he didn't know. At some point, that line stops being believable. At some point, pretending not to see becomes a choice. Surrounded by people doing questionable things, protected by layers of media and PR. Untouchable by accountability. That's not a coincidence, that's a system.
So because we gambled at LeBron's house, me, Damon Jones, that was our group. So Damon Jones is horrible.
2 of them niggas is gambling on NBA. 1 is throwing poker games and robbing his friends. Ain't got shit to do with me. I'm gonna tell on this nigga. And I don't like this, what's going on. I see the word mafia, but the only faces I see is Negroes. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's in me like, wait a minute, hold on, man. Like, what's going on here?
Capitol Hill has taken notice. October 28, 2025, brought a letter from Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Maria Cantwell to the NBA with a November 10th deadline. Their requests included the league's gambling policies, a list of all investigations since January 2020, and communications with sportsbooks about irregular betting. Senator Cruz framed it directly. These cheating scandals threaten to undermine the integrity of sports. Representative Paul Tonko of New York, who authored the Safe Bet Act, went further on October 31st. Either engage directly with Congress to establish mandatory federal guardrails, or stand in opposition and accept responsibility when the next scandal breaks. The Safe Bet Act would ban gambling ads during live sports, prohibit microbets and college athlete prop bets, and create a national self-exclusion list. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine expressed outright regret about his state's involvement. Ohio absolutely shouldn't have done sports betting, he said, calling micro prop bets very dangerous and a great threat to the integrity of sports. Major League Baseball responded on November 10th with a $200 cap on pitch-level micro bets and exclusion of micro bets from parlays. This announcement came one day after 2 Cleveland Guardians pitchers got indicted in a separate gambling case. Momentum is building. One more name keeps surfacing in reporting, though not in official indictments. Ty Lue. The Los Angeles Clippers head coach and Chauncey Billups have been best friends since age 16, when they played AAU basketball together. November 16, 2020, saw Lue hire Billups as his assistant coach with the Clippers. Damon Jones also got a job from Lue. The 2016 playoffs brought Jones onto Lue's Cleveland Cavaliers coaching staff, followed by a full-time assistant position in September of that year. Multiple journalists have reported that Lue attended the April 2019 poker game in Vegas, where Billups allegedly participated in cheating. Sources say Lue did not play at the same table as Billups. Lue lives in Vegas during the off-season and is known to love poker. No charges have been filed against him. After Billups' arrest, Lue offered this reaction. "I was just sad. Chauncey is my best friend, and him having to go through something like this, the allegations, his family, my goddaughters, it was a tough day.
Ty Lue is a recurring character in this story in ways that have been not yet disclosed until this episode. I can tell you that we have footage at the World Series of Poker in which Ty Lue is watching a friend of his have a great victory while sitting on the rail, the equivalent of courtside at a playoff game at the World Series of Poker last year, and the guy who was sitting next to him celebrating their mutual friendship with this poker player is Damon Jones. I can tell you that Ty Lue is a recurring character at the Aria High Limit Bar alongside Damon Jones. And by the way, Damon Jones calls Ty Lue his best friend. I will give you one guess as to who Ty Lue says is his best friend, because it's not Damon Jones, it is Chauncey Billups. And Ty Lue happened to hire both of those guys to his staffs when he got head jobs in the NBA. Ty Lue also was there at the April 2019 allegedly rigged poker game where Chauncey Billups was not merely the whale at the table, but according to the federal indictment, someone who was cooperating as a member of the cheating team, effectively some of the most unsavory characters to occur in the history of sports and scandal.
Terry Rozier has pleaded not guilty. Chauncey Billups has pleaded not guilty. Damon Jones has pleaded not guilty. Jontay Porter awaits sentencing and could face years in prison. Tim Donaghy continues doing podcasts claiming this is just the beginning. Congress wants answers from the league. Sportsbooks are pulling back on certain bet types. The NBA has announced a broad review of prop bets, injury reporting, and AI monitoring. The fundamental tension remains unresolved. A decade of building gambling into the NBA's business model has created a situation where the league holds official partnerships with the very companies whose platforms processed suspicious bets. Every broadcast saturates viewers with odds and betting lines. Players see the same gambling ads the rest of us do. And now federal indictments allege that players and coaches passed insider information to gamblers connected to 4 of the 5 New York crime families. Adam Silver has said he wishes there was federal legislation. That might be exactly right. Because the current system, where sports leagues regulate themselves while taking money from gambling companies, is clearly not working. The NBA has a gambling problem, and the only question left is whether they're willing to do what it takes to fix it, or whether this really is just the tip of the iceberg. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.